1991, the Western Caspian University has a remarkable history and special position in the field of education in the Republic of Azerbaijan and the region. The university is distinguished by the quality of education, innovation, theoretical knowledge, experience-based curricula, and unique projects. For 30 years, with the participation of leading researchers from around the world, the university has been creating platforms that address issues of regional and global relevance by organizing international conferences, research projects, and events. Every year, the Western Caspian University organizes seminars, lectures, and practical classes of specialists from universities and research institutes and international organizations around the world. Examples are the 2019 International Conference, Mountains, Cultures, Landscapes, and Biodiversity, and the Spring School of Biomathematics, with the participation of professors from the Danish Technical University and the German Center for Dispute Resolution. The university offers long-term and short-term study abroad programs, many of which are funded by scholarships. The university's international network covers more than 200 educational institutions. Cooperation implies teacher and student exchanges, as well as joint projects and research. West Caspian University has been successfully implementing a dual degree program with UBIS University in Switzerland for many years. The material and technical base of the university are the modern and unique laboratories, various centers, and the High Technology Park. They all play an important role in the organization of quality and practice-oriented education. Educational instruction at the university is carried out in Azerbaijani, English, and the Russian language. The curriculum and the various classes, many of which are taught by foreign specialists in an international environment, often require a high level of mastery of foreign languages. The library of the Western Caspian University is one of the richest libraries in the country for English language literature. The library fund is regularly updated with the latest electronic and printed literature. The university also hosts a UN library. Various innovative projects and Olympiads are organized by the Technopark of the university. Here, along with theoretical knowledge, students have the opportunity to gain practical skills, as well as the opportunity to turn their ideas into reality. Initiatives are collected in the Technopark's Idea Bank, formed in the prototype and business incubation centers, and finally supported to reach out to investors. Student life is not just about education. Various sports competitions, intellectual games, entertaining events, excursions, etc. all add color to student life and make it unforgettable. Western Caspian University. The future inspires us. Founded in 1991, the Western Caspian University has a remarkable history and special position in the field of education in the Republic of Azerbaijan and the region. The university is distinguished by the quality of education, innovation, theoretical knowledge, experience-based curricula, and unique projects. For 30 years, with the participation of leading researchers from around the world, the university has been creating platforms that address issues of regional and global relevance by organizing international conferences, research projects, and events. Every year, the Western Caspian University organizes seminars, lectures, and practical classes of specialists from universities and research institutes and international organizations around the world.
All the best, everybody.
Okay.
Okay, shall we start, Dr. Fusal and Dr. Elmi?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. So, good afternoon and also good evening for especially dear students that already in this virtual classroom, if I may say. My name is Artanami Eka Krisima Panjaitan. For those from Baku or Azerbaijan, maybe that name sounds very unique, but I used to be called with Arta, just Arta. And also welcome to our special, our lovely students from BİNUS University. Thank you for your time to listen more about the study of gender and the perspective from Indonesia that will be delivered by the faculty member of BİNUS University, especially from International Relations Department. I will not talk very far because you will gonna know more from the panelists and also the moderator, of course. We will start this special webinar, if I may say, in a short time. But before that, allow me to invite our head of department of international relations from BİNUS University. Maybe most or maybe not most, all the students from BİNUS University already know our head of department. And also I also proud to introduce him to students from Azerbaijan, Western Caspian University. So without further ado, that I have joined this room with us, Bapak Rangga Aditya, PhD, to maybe greet all of us here before the webinar is started. For Dr. Rangga, the forum is yours, Doc, please.
Okay. My voice already clear, Ms. Arta?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Arta. Good afternoon to all of you in Baku, Azerbaijan. Dr. Fusal Karimli, Head of Strategic Development Center of Western Caspian University. Dr. Elmir Badalov, Coordinator of International Relations. Also distinguished speakers, my fellow Mr. Wendy Prajulidir and Ms. Dayu Nirma, faculty member of International Relations Department, BİNUS University. Also all faculty members, fellow and student at the Western Caspian University. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude on behalf of the Department of International Relations, BİNUS University, to Western Caspian University for collaborating with us in this guest lecture event. I firmly believe this kind of event will increase international partnership between us, while at the same time also enrich the student knowledge on IR issue from various perspectives. I have learned from Ms. Arta that BİNUS and YCU met for the first time at the QS Apple Forum in November 2020, right, Mr. Arta? Okay.
Correct. So, to be specific with Dr. Elmir.
Oh, okay, with Dr. Elmir. So Dr. Elmir is the.
I think he is too shy now. He is closing his video. I don't know why. Oh, there he is.
From that meeting, we found that both of us had a genuine interest in establishing a partnership, particularly in mobilizing faculty member and student. I believe currently our proposal is being processed, and I expect the result will yield an extensive benefit for student and faculty members from both sides, of course. Let's hope that this pandemic will be ending very soon. So our student and lecturer could visit YCU, which located in the beautiful city of Baku near the Caspian Sea. While at the same time, we will be glad welcoming your student as our guest in Jakarta, the capital city of Indonesia, of course, in the BİNUS University, at BİNUS University. In today's topic, we will hear about gender. Well, gender is an issue. As an issue itself, gender is a social and socio-cultural environment, political and economic issue that surrounded around the issue. Currently, I can say there are several developments about gender issue in Indonesia. For the past few years, Indonesia is experiencing a rapid progress in gender equality, particularly in reducing disparities between women and men in education. However, there are still several challenges ahead that should be solved by the government and all elements, including corporation and civil society. Well, I'm not a gender expert on IR, thus I believe Mr. Wendy and Ms. Dayu will upgrade our knowledge about gender issue, especially from a perspective from Indonesia. I think it will make today's event crucial and valuable in essence. Once again, thank you very much for the Western Caspian University for this valuable opportunity. We do hope we can have more collaboration in the future. In this good opportunity, I would also like to thank you to the organizer of this event who already showed good work to make this happen. For all faculty member, fellow, and student, I hope you have a fruitful discussion. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Pak Rangga, for the positive vibe sent to this room. We believe that will gonna start a good start for our webinar this lovely afternoon. I think you forgot to mention that dear students and also fellows here, Dr. Rangga was actually doing a research on Azerbaijan. Has somehow I happen to know from him. He said that a long time ago.
My bachelor thesis.
Maybe you would like to share a bit. What did you? Okay. So thank you, Mas Rangga, for sharing. Maybe after this, Dr. Elmir will gonna ask you more. What did your research about Azerbaijan, and share your knowledge to WCU. Thank you, Pak. So before I invite our moderator, Dr. Fusal, which is, I believe, everybody, all the students in the Western Caspian University already know, I would like to remind to all the students here, especially for BİNUS University students, please rename your Zoom name with in the beginning of your Zoom name with BİNUS, so that in the end of the event, we can identify BİNUS and Western Caspian University. And then don't forget, be active. This is a very remarkable moment where you can engage or throw a question, or also maybe you can say hello to friends from Indonesia or from Azerbaijan. This is a good opportunity to also brainstorm from what Ms. Dayu and Mr. Wendy will deliver later. Okay, so I would like to invite Dr. Fusal Karimli. Dr. Fusal at this moment is as the director of, I hope I'm not mistaken, is the Director of Strategic Development Center in Western Caspian University, which is his research interest is focusing on the development of SDGs. And then also he is also, Dr. Fusal at this moment is also teaching in English department, correct? Doc.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, yes, I'm succeed. I don't fail. So without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Fusal that will also will be the representative from Western Caspian University to open to deliver the speech, and then also directly to open the panelists as he himself will be the moderator. So, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, please give your applause. Click the applause for Dr. Rangga and also for Dr. Fusal. Please, Dr. Fusal.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much again. Thank you. That you introduced me so greatly that I thought that I did something. Thank you very much for your applause. I would like to welcome all the participants from Indonesia, from our university, even from the partner universities. I see that we have some people from our partner university. Again, I would like to express our attitude and our satisfaction and gratitude to all the participants. Thank you very much, and for the BİNUS University that they are agreed and to organize such kind of virtual event, which is really important on focusing on gender issues. Right now, almost all world focusing on gender issues and equality and equity on the gender issues. And my university, Western Caspian University, really this few years works really on this issue. And by the way, we have the gender issue research center at our university, and which is trying to make some research on the gender issues. So I would like to give you just short statistics of the university. Our Gender Issues Center says that we have from workers, 51% of our workers, our employers are women, and 49% are men. About the students, they are equal, 50% to 50%, which is a good number. And even not only in our university, but also in Azerbaijan, the gap, there is no big gap. It's 51 to 49%, which is a good number, which shows that we are progressing, not on the university, but also in government, on the republic. Despite we are a Muslim country, we know some traditions, we know some cultures, but in my country in 1980s, the first time the women were given the right to vote in the parliament, which we are really happy with this event. And again, I try to, I'm a bit exciting, despite I have lots of webinars, but this is the thing that we're really happy having this kind of meetings. Now, today we have two speakers, Mrs. Dayu and Mr. Wendy. Now I want to give the floor to Mrs. Dayu, and I want to give you short brief information about her. She is currently faculty member of BİNUS University, the Department of International Relations. She's also an advisor for climate and the forest at the Norwegian Embassy, and she has too many jobs, more responsibilities, and she's expert on gender issues. Now, Ms. Dayu, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you.
Let's applause to Ms. Dayu.
Thank you. So I would say in Indonesia, we normally begin with a greeting of Assalamualaikum to everyone. Very good afternoon to Baku and to Jakarta. My name is Dayu. I am a faculty member at Bina Nusantara University, currently also an advisor to a climate of forest team. So I'm actually more of an environment than a gender expert, and Wendy is probably the gender expert that has recruited me into the bandwagon, basically, to do some gender-related research. So I suppose gender is still an issue, and as you probably may have heard, it has become an international attention. Due to COVID-19, there has been increased incidences of violence against women, for example, domestic violence, and with closing of businesses, with unemployment, it is women that are falling into poverty, and they are suffering even greater consequences due to COVID-19 compared to men. So I will begin my presentation. It will be rather broad, I should say, and then we can explore further in the discussion with regards to how the situation is in Indonesia and what are the government policies to, as Dr. Ranga pointed out, to close the gender gap. So let's begin with women in development and what is the perspective on Indonesia. In Indonesia, when we talk about gender, even though internationally it is acknowledged there are various spectrums of gender, in Indonesia, because of political and public acceptance reasons, when we talk about gender, we only talk about relations between men and women, because those are the two gender that is officially and legally recognized in Indonesia. So let us have this in mind. And you're free to students in Jakarta and Baku, and we have someone, a special guest from Nottingham. She's also a student, a PhD student. Please feel free to drop by either comment or questions, and we can discuss later on. Now, let's begin with why women in development is a concern. And I used to work at the World Bank for more than a decade, actually. And in every project that we prepare, in every document almost that we prepare, there is always a question on whether women can participate, whether women can benefit from any interventions, and whether there are harmful impacts against women or suffered by women. Now, of course, for all of us that are not familiar with development sector, we always ask this question: why women is always an important part and should be an integrated part to any development interventions. Let's begin with the most immediate and the most visible. I began with outlining the situation with women experiencing domestic violence, and the cases have escalated not only in domestic violence, but also violence committed by employers, for example, when we talk about domestic workers, or by spouses and partners. And not only that, generally, even before COVID-19, women experience threats to their personal safety. Now, I quote a report from UN Women that is quite recent in 2020. It actually says that women and girls have become victims of violence, and the threats are still very much imminent, even in 2021. When I thought that in my era, when I was still a young adult, I thought that it was due to infrastructure because lightings were poor. It was because of education. Even when education improved and infrastructure is improved and law enforcement is supposedly improving, the threat never truly disappeared. In fact, globally, and this is sad. Actually, when I read the report, I had tears in my eyes because I imagine like fellow women suffering from this. So 35% of women still experience physical and or sexual abuses by intimate partner and sometimes non-partner. So 35% is basically, if there are 10 girls or 10 women in the room, that means at least 3 of them have experienced violence in their life. And what saddens me is the second. It says that 137 women are killed by a family member every day. In Indonesia, often we read or we hear about incidences of violence that may result in deaths of women, but to have 137 women killed every day globally. That is a very stark and sad figure. And when we talk about human trafficking, adult women account for 49%, adult women and girls for 72%, and basically 3 out of 4, 75% of child being trafficked are girls. And if you read the report, most of these girls and women who are being trafficked are trafficked for sexual exploitation. So not only that women and girls are under threat physically, because they can either be abducted, trafficked, beaten up, but also they can be killed. And what is really sad is they can be killed by a family member. So the closest people in your household are actually posing threat to your personal safety. We have someone raising their hand, his or her hand. Would you like to say a few words? No. Okay. Let me continue. And going from physical violence to inequality, we often talk about is there such thing as equality between the two sexes, between men and women and boys and girls. The thing is, even though there have been improvements in most of the countries, women and girls still suffer from unequal rights. When we talk about education, for example, yes, there have been open access, almost at equal opportunity for boys and girls to pursue education. But in cases of economic difficulty like this times, then if a family has to make a choice between a boy that is continuing to go to school or a girl, most likely it would be the boy that continues, and the girl will be left to either help with the domestic chores or to work to generate income, or if they are of enough age, they will be married in order to improve the family's livelihood. So across all spectrums, when we talk about inequality between the two sexes, even in the most advanced countries, there is no such thing as perfect equality between men and women. And we're only talking about the two sexes and not the broad or the most comprehensive gender spectrum. Let's quote some figures from the World Economic Forum Gender Gap in 2020. What the World Economic Forum does is it creates or it establishes an index based on a number of indicators in I think more than 100 countries, ranging from advanced industrialized nations, first world nations, up to developing nations, and even the least developed nations. What they find is the global gender parity rate is at 68%, meaning that even on average, when we take into account the most egalitarian countries in the world, we're nowhere equal. We're almost 70% equal. And when we talk about voice, parliamentary representation, globally, it's only 25%, meaning only a quarter of women are in the legislature being able to decide or influence resource allocations and policies. 21% globally is at ministerial representation. And the World Economic Forum also says, in order for us to close the 32%, for us to be truly an equal society, a global society that is truly equal, we will need 257 years. And that is only to close rights related to economic fulfillment or economic well-being. So when we talk about equal employment opportunities, rights to attain education, rights with regards to being represented in managerial positions, equality between income. It will take us 257 years. Now, I'm close to being half a century years old, so I don't think I will live to 257. So even if I die and my grandchildren dies, we are nowhere close to being an equal society. And globally, only 55% of women engage in the labor market. So this is in contrast to the number of men that is much higher. 72 countries have no access at all, and there are more women performing unpaid work. This is, for example, family care, child care, the care for the sick, and domestic work. Women's voice, unfortunately, despite of all those conditions, have very much been underrepresented. Even if we talk to women of other countries, when we think that there's equal opportunity presented in the laws, they said that there is some reluctance to speak to the authorities or to speak to government officials because they have the perception that their voice are not being heard. And this is really unfortunate because women's contribution is significant. Perhaps you are well aware that in countries where women are the heads of the government, COVID-19 is better communicated, the response is better communicated, it is better handled, and in some countries, the rate of infection is much less than if you have male as heads of government. Perhaps it's because of the empathy, perhaps it's because of the priorities that women are putting into health and well-being of families. Perhaps it is all of the above. We don't know. But the message here is, if you do not tap into those resources, the world is at loss, at opportunity, and at a serious and significant opportunity loss. Now, it is an important issue throughout the world. Some regions are suffering from the greatest inequality, such as South Asia. And if you talk about South Asia, some women in India, for example, are suffering from double discrimination because they're women and because of their caste. Some women in sub-Saharan Africa because of poverty, and the Middle East because of their socio-political setup. And approximately 59% of the world's poor are living in sub-Saharan Africa. And what COVID-19 does is there will be 96 million people driven to extreme poverty this year, and half of them, 47 million of them, will be women and girls. Now, this will increase the total number of women and girls living in extreme poverty to 435 million. And it is almost impossible right now to revert that number. When we talk about gender, we have mentioned a little bit that perhaps in India or in sub-Saharan Africa or in the Middle East, the type of discrimination suffered by women is different. This is because gender and relations between men and women, power relations between the two sexes, is a social construct. Now, the sexes, men and women, is biological. But gender, how you perceive, perhaps Wendy can come in as well because he has done quite an extensive research on this. How men and women, boys and girls, position themselves vis-a-vis their roles, vis-a-vis what they're expected to do, their expected contribution. These are masculine and feminine roles that are influenced by their upbringing, by their education, the society, the legal construct, and others. So it is a social construct. So we learn our behaviors and roles. I learn to be a mother from my mother and from other mothers, from my peers. So it is very much a social construct. And the way that I take care of my child is maybe different from a woman, same age, same socioeconomic status in another country, for instance. And that vary over time, meaning that if I have a girl, and that girl, because I don't have a girl, not yet at least, if that girl is becoming a mother, then maybe her perceived role is different. She may have a modern ideas that are different, and they're not totally fixed over time. This is just to show you that there are significant country variants. South Asia, for example, very much domestic role is expected. There is a problem with case. South Korea, there's a notion of beauty that women are come to a counter with. That's why the cosmetic surgery business is blooming in South Korea, because the perception is beauty is big eyes, fair skin, long hair, everything that I am not, sharp, pointy, small nose, everything that I am not is what is beautiful in South Korea. In Norway, in Scandinavian and Nordic countries, we even have, if you look at the gender gap index, it's even a minus, because women actually control the government. Women actually control key positions in businesses, such as Elda Solberg from
I think
I know because I am about yes.
Tadi ada
Okay.
you were lost for 5 seconds, Mbak Dayu, sorry.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, connection was a bit unstable because of the rain. And there's also this dimension, rural and urban divide. In Indonesia, we celebrate these two female ministers, right? Ibu Sri Mulyani, that is now co-chairing the finance minister for climate action, and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Retno Marsudi, that is representing Indonesia in UN Human Rights Council, has enjoyed Western education, has enjoyed equality that every modern society can think of. But at the same time, in rural parts of Indonesia, in the East, women are still fixed to their domestic chores and not being able to enjoy the same rights. And this is why it is important to integrate women into development. Why? Because apparently we have different priorities. Our roles makes us have different priorities. When we talk about water and sanitation, for example, it is critical to us because we cook for our family, and we also take care of our family members. And when we talk about voice, how to make sure that these different priorities are represented, it's not just numbers. Now, these are members of parliament from Indonesia, from the ruling party currently, PBIP. That's why they're all wearing red. Now, the numbers are great. We even have the Speaker of the House there. But if they are the daughters of somebody, the wives of somebody, they're celebrities that cannot represent these priorities, then these are numbers that are not giving additional voice to women and their issues. And it is also important to make sure that women are consulted. In Indonesia, there is no regulation preventing women from participating in village meetings. So this is an example of a village meeting. So funds in Indonesia are disbursed up to the village level, meaning the village can decide whether they want to build bridge, schools, whether there are programs to improve nutrition in the society for clean water. And yet you see here that there is only one female and the rest are males. Why? Culture. They would say, it's better for my husband or my brother or my son to be there instead. And they fear that they are being ridiculed if they speak up. So in Indonesia, a number of villages, for example, then the village administration organized 2 meetings because they want to ensure that women's voice are represented. So these are the measures. And it's important to have those measures that are special and specific to women because we want to tap into their potentials. What are the barriers? UN Women have said that there are multiple barriers for women to be able to contribute positively to the economy. We have legal barriers such as owning property. In Indonesia, to buy and sell property, you have to obtain permission from the husband because of the marriage law. The maternity and paternity leave is not yet equal. The number is still very minimum. We do not have equal pay. And we talk about income tax, individual income tax. Only the male have greater tax deduction. And women in Indonesia are still working as domestic workers. And in Indonesian families such as mine, we have a helper. And domestic work is a sector that is often less protected. There's no way for the government, for example, to make sure that I pay the minimum wage, that I make sure that my helper is only working 8 hours a day, that she has sufficient leave. And that is why it is still an issue in Indonesia. And in Indonesia, we are also, not only them working in Indonesia, we are exporting migrant workers that are working in the domestic sector. Now, going to the research that Wendy, Arta, and I are doing, we also believe that since women have different priorities and development impact women differently, climate change, we believe, also impacts women differently because of these different roles. Climate change is not and never gender neutral. If there is a climate-induced natural disaster, for example, it is women and girls who are often become victims. It is women and girls that often become burdened because they have to search for clean water, for example. They have to prepare meals for the family. They have to take care of the sick. And if we talk about agriculture, 45 to 80% of agriculture globally is produced with a contribution from women and female workers. So yes, climate affects women differently. And in Indonesia, we are still lacking, despite Dr. Ranga says. We rank 85th out of 150 countries in WEF index. Only 54%, this is below global average, are in the labor market. Women member of parliament, 17.4%, also below global average. And although we hold key ministerial positions, this number is declining from last year. And although we have a female speaker and chair of Defense and Foreign Affairs Committee, which is historical, and Wendy will say more about that, it is still not sufficient to have women's issues or priorities that are important to women to be represented. And even with an instruction on gender mainstreaming, without monitoring or clear follow-up if there are any deviation, we are far away from being an equal society. And what is interesting in Indonesia is there are many women that are working in informal economies, meaning that their economic contribution is not accounted for, their working conditions is not regulated, and in cases of crisis, including COVID-19, they are the ones that are most seriously impacted. And informal economies such as this, when there's a lockdown or there's a mobility restriction, they have voiced out to the government that they have lost their source of income entirely because this is the only way they know to make a living. And not all women are the same. So we have spoken about country variances, rural and urban divide. In Indonesia, we also have division between the islands. We have division between the different ethnicities. And even within the ethnicities, there are also division with regards to how advanced or how well integrated a society or community is into the Indonesian economy. So in villages or in areas that is well integrated into Indonesian economy, it is common for women to speak up, to participate in meetings, to take part in schemes like the stimulus packages offered by the government, to have access to finance, to be well informed, to be able to understand how to use the technology. But in the rural areas where the community setup prevents them from fully participating, this is not the case. And this is what we are also trying to figure out in our research. What we are attempting to recommend to the government in our research is is community development should take into account all these variances, all these differences, in order for women's priorities to be accounted for. Because in terms of energy, for example, women use energy differently. We use energy more to for our self-subsistence, to get water, to prepare a meal, to get food, to make sure that children can do their homework with sufficient lighting, rather than entertainment value or even production value. Only when they gain further or better economic status than this are explored. So that's why it's important for the government to understand this dimension. Location, age, ethnicity also influences that choice. And as I have said, in Indonesia, cultural and religious institutions also play a part in whether women can fully integrate themselves, can fully participate in making decisions in development, especially in energy. And with that, let me close. Drop us a question or comment in the chat, and hope we can discuss later in the Q&A session. Thank you. Back to you, Pak Fusal.
Thank you very much, Ms. Dayu. Thank you very much for this interesting presentation. Now would like to give the floor to our participants in order to ask questions. If you have any question, or maybe it could be comment, not our students, of course, our friends, especially to Miss Lorita. Any questions, please do not hesitate.
Or maybe we can go straight to Wendy.
Yes,
and collect questions
so
later.
if no questions, maybe after. Okay, it's my honor to introduce our second speaker, Mr. Wendy. Hello.
Hello.
I'd like to give this short information about Mr. Wendy. He's a lecturer at the Department of International Relations. He did his bachelor degree in Indonesia and bachelor and master degree in Indonesia. Right now, he's studying, he's doing his PhD in the Department of Southeast Asia, Humboldt University, Germany. So, Mr. Wendy, please, the floor is yours. And the one thing I would like to inform all the participants, that if any questions, so please, you can write it on the chat form, or you can wait for the end of the presentation. So please be active and ask your questions. Please, the floor is yours, Mr.
Okay, thank you, Fusal. Thank you for having me, and thank you for all participants for coming to this webinar. Dayu already explained many things about gender issue in Indonesia and also in international level. So I will be more specific to gender in foreign policy. I will start my presentation from I will wait. I will start explaining a brief about the relation between gender and foreign policy analysis or foreign policy study. So actually, gender and foreign policy studies is a new phenomenon in foreign policy analysis. It starts from 90s. But at this time, the number of academic work on this issue is still limited. As you can see from my presentation, I give some example of the article about that. there are articles from FIT and then also from list. I have no idea how to call it. Lisa Togebi maybe. But the issue or the study of gender in foreign policy bloomed in 2000s, especially after Sweden declared their feminist foreign policy, and then many scholars try to understand about the relation between gender and foreign policy, or the relation between women and foreign policy, representation of women in foreign policy, and many things. So you can see from the PowerPoint there are some articles about that from talking about challenge women have when they post abroad, and then ethics in feminist foreign policy, and many things. So this is a new study. The next question then, we know that something is not happen suddenly, like you snap your finger and then voila, it's there. So there is process about this. So what is the process? So in my opinion, the process is start from a gender movement in many countries, or even in global level. So we know that there are 4 waves of feminist movement globally, from first wave in 19th to 20th century, and then second wave, third wave, and now is 4th wave. Many say that now is 4th wave because the current feminist movement use different technology. Before they use it's more analog. You can say that analog technology, like maybe like a paper and so on. But now they use digital technology. For example, like Me Too campaign that we saw some years ago, and this feminist movement and then develop gender awareness, and then this create tension and demand for better gender relation in many aspects, including in foreign policy. For example, in 1980s, some scholars mostly in the United States realized that there are small representation of women in foreign policy. So they start to develop awareness about this, and then the result is in 1990s, many scholars try to understand, try to analyze, try to figure out the problem, and so on. That's why we see in 90s the academic writing, the academic works on this issue growing until now. And another result is, if you see the number of women on position of Minister of Foreign Affairs, there are significant development on this. So you can see it from 1947 to 1999. The woman sat on position of Minister of Foreign Affairs only 51 times. But from 2000 to 2020, there are more than one. It's almost 200 times women sat on that position. So we see that the implication of this feminist movement. So how about in Indonesia? Is there any new development, or no? There is no development in Indonesia. So we can see from our research, we found that in 2014 we have our first female Minister of Foreign Affairs, and then since 2005 the number of female diplomats in Indonesian Ministry of Foreign Affairs improved significantly, as you can see from the picture. So what is the cause of this? Why in these 15 years there are improvement like this in Indonesia foreign policy? So we try to find the answer from gender socialization. Why we use gender socialization as the causal factors? First is when democratization happened in 1998, the debate about women in public grew significantly. Many scholars, many people in Indonesia talks about women's role in public affairs. And this then, this new phenomena affect people's view about the public roles of women. And then this consequently change the gender socialization in Indonesia. So in easy way, we can say that gender socialization is about how people teach their member of society, about gender roles. Like Dayu said that from their family or from their community, women learn about what is their role in society. Whether they only have like a domestic responsibility, or they also have a public responsibility, something like that. And when they are live in patriarchal gender socialization, the society will teach them that women have to be at home doing all the house works, and men going to working place for working. Yeah. So when this change, when people change about their perspective on gender, it will change also the awareness, woman awareness about what their role in public affairs. And the second, the second factor, or mostly or supporting factor that make many women can have access to foreign policy, to access to Minister of Foreign Affairs is presidential decree on gender mainstreaming. The law said that all government institutions have to be pro-gender. So many institutions then open their access to Indonesian women. So this is the supporting factor. So to see the relation between gender socialization and the improvement of diplomat in Indonesia, we then interview 3 categories of people. First is female diplomats, the young diplomat, their age between among 30s, and then aspiring diplomat. This is young female who wants to be diplomat. And then the last one is public in general. So and what we found from this research is, first, the female diplomats say that they don't experience patriarchal gender socialization in their family. For example, one diplomat said that, like he said, that my brother is better at cleaning the house, so he clean when I was dishes and did grocery. So from here you can see that her brother also involved in house chores, cleaning the house. But the others say that there is a split between so like this. One said that at home, the female family members have to do all the house chores, and the men do like say men works like cleaning the car and something, and then fixing the house and something like that. So at home, when talking about domestic affairs, domestic job, domestic works, their family said that it is for women. But then this family also said that when talking about public roles, they said that woman can be anything. So there is a different it's not consistent, something like that. It's not consistent. At one time, at one side, they said that woman has responsibility at home. So the priority at home, the priority is it's for women to take care of all the job at home. But then they said that at public affairs, women have equal access to men. For example, when we interview one of the diplomat, she said that concerning housework, my family is very patriarchal. All domestic work done by females. It is a disgrace for my father goes to kitchen, even for making coffee. But then she said, at public, when talking about public roles, my family is very liberal. Woman can be anything. Even when she said that she wants to be a soldier, their family is okay. There's no complaint. There was no complaint from. So this is the situation. There is there's inconsistency in the and then from the community, they also experience non-patriarchal gender socialization, because many of them say that their friends family, their big family support them to become diplomat. Even some want to be diplomat because influence of their friends family, friends parents, and so we can say that this female diplomat doesn't have patriarchal experience. And then how about this diplomat? It's same. They also the same thing. They say that they don't have patriarchal experience at home. One said that woman is better than men for the diplomat job, because women are meticulous and more detailed than men, and women also have better negotiation skill than men. So this young female is very confident to say that woman is better than. So we cannot find this confident when if she lives in patriarchal family. So, and then there are also some young females saying that at home their family is inconsistent about the role. Same like the female diplomat say that for all the house chores have to be done by women. But then the family also said that woman can be anything outside outside their home. If they want to work at Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it is okay, because a woman a good diplomat too, something like that. So, but even though there's this inconsistency between domestic and their view about domestic and public affairs or public roles, we see that almost all the family see woman can be anything at public. So the situation or the condition is similar with the female diplomat. So how about the public? Most of the public that we interview, most of people that we interview say that they support their family to become a diplomat. Even though some of them say that saying even though they believe women can be diplomat, but their main job is at home. So we found also this inconsistency here. And of course, this will cause another problem when this female diplomat doing their job. So how to see the relation between gender socialization and woman representation in foreign policy? It is simple. When women have positive perception about their role in foreign policy, it will encourage them and motivate them to diplomatic corps, and this then improve the number of women in Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Because if they don't have view that women can be diplomat, there will be no woman go to there. There will be no woman to apply for the diplomatic job. But when they have positive perception about the role of women in foreign policy, they will go there. And this comes from how the family and the society teach the woman role in public and domestic. And second is when they also have a moderate view from their family, they will it will encourage them to the diplomatic job. So the conclusion is very simple actually. Gender socialization is important aspect to improve women access to foreign policy. The non-patriarchal gender socialization will bring women to will encourage women to apply to go to a foreign policy field, because they are confident this is their they can be there, they can do the job and something like that. And the second is improving the number of women in foreign policy. I mean, we have to change the socialization. Without changing gender socialization, it is possible to see improvement of women representation in foreign policy. So I think that's all my short presentation, and I think I need to Dayu said that I'm a gender expert on this. Actually, no, I'm just like a gender research enthusiast on this issue. So that's all. Go back to Fusao.
Mr. Wendy, thank you very much. It was very informative presentation, and I hope that they will all enjoy your presentation. And the question is that this is now the question part. Now where our speakers are waiting their questions. Okay, we have one person who wants to ask a question. There is in the chat, please.
Yeah. Okay, I see one question from Samro. What aspect affect gender equality, political system or religious practice? I think both, yeah. Both can be influence the gender equality. For example, if the political system, for example, in Indonesia, the political system support the gender support the improvement of number of women in parliament. We have what is the name? What's the name, Badayu?
Quota.
Quota.
Yeah, quota. The system said that every party has to give 30% of their quota to women, for women. And this regulation improved the number of women in Indonesian parliament. And also religious practice. We see now, for example, in Indonesia, there's a growing Islamic fundamentalism, and this also influence how women see themselves in how they see themselves in public. For example, like this, weeks ago, one of my friends said that her mother was a moderate female, having a moderate view of woman role in public. But now her woman is more conservative when seeing woman role in community. And the cause of this is because her mother got many online broadcasts from the social media like WhatsApp and others, saying that women have to be at home, blah blah blah, and something like that. So it changed how her woman view of the gender role. So yeah, both influence, and sometimes it depends on the country. In some country or in some place, religious practice give more influence, but in other country or place, political system give more influence. So that's, I think, my answer.
Any other questions? You're very welcome. Please. Any questions?
me, maybe.
Please.
Maybe it's not question, yeah, Dr. Fusal, allow me. Maybe I want to know, maybe some dear students here from Baku, maybe one or specifically maybe from a woman or not woman is also no problem. Maybe you can share how about what happened in Baku after you know a little about what Miss Dayu and Mr. Wendy share about Indonesia. Maybe you want to share a bit about women in politics in Azerbaijan, or maybe in small, medium economy, or in daily. Is there any different or significant different? Maybe you can just share, oh my God, it's very different with what happened in Baku. I really want to know that. So maybe if some of the students here from Azerbaijan, just think maybe if don't be too shy, just consider maybe Dr. Fusal is not here or Dr. Elmir is not here. You can talk freely. Maybe somebody want to share. Just a short, maybe.
Thank you very much. That's interesting point. Please, guys, just try to make your own comments. Maybe you don't want to ask a question, or maybe you would like to add some comments or your own approach. That's good.
Don't have to be in English. Okay. Dr. Fusal can translate for us.
We will try to translate. Don't worry. It's okay. Actually, let's give the time for our guests to think a little bit from Azerbaijan, even from Indonesia. Actually, this is the tendency that in my country also this last half a decade, everything is just changing dramatically, that the women and the politics and social life, I would say in entrepreneurial, in business, in every sector, we can see the increasing number of women in the whole sphere of the society, which is remarkable. I would say very frankly that we didn't have such kind of inequality, gender inequality in Azerbaijan before. As I mentioned on my first speech, on opening speech, that we gave our women the right to vote in parliament in 1918. You can imagine that how long ago, almost 1 century ago. So we never thought, we didn't have such kind of radical against the women, but this is the changes that the quotas of the women in parliament increased significantly in public sector, the universities, on administrative rules. We can see now, let's say a decade or 15 years ago, if we observe it, the universities, we didn't have in any vice rectors or rectors, the universities, but right now, I would say in every university, at least 1 or 2 vice rectors are women, which is pretty good number, we would think. But taking care into account that we are Muslim countries, and we know from religious point of view that how the societies was in Islam, in Muslim world, I would say now is quite pretty good. But this last, let's say, the issues related with the gender equality discussed highly in Azerbaijan, I would say. If there is any comments, any ideas, maybe someone wants to share their thoughts with us, we would be happy to hear your voice. Even if you don't want to speak, or you can't speak English, we will try to translate. Simultaneous translation we will try. Okay, of course it will be for free of charge.
Interesting. Thank you, Dr. Fusal. Well, maybe if they are just still shy, next time if we have
maybe
opportunity to share the
yeah,
progress of the
yes,
research.
Maybe they are shy. Hope that this kind of events will be continuous and continual, and hope that more students, more participants will be encouraged in order to ask questions or share their thoughts and or attitudes, or maybe they want to criticize. We are open. We're discussing this kind of public meetings in order to share, in order to freely express our feelings and our thoughts. So I would like to give the floor to Mr. Elmir. He's always, I think, is really shy person, but now I would like to give him the floor to share his own approaches, own ideas or thoughts. Please, Elmir Merlim, the floor is yours.
Maybe Amir is having lunch.
No. We are receiving hundreds of emails right now. Maybe he is busy with answering the emails. Very important issue right now we are facing.
Or maybe there is someone want to share.
Yes, maybe there is someone wants to
when we say that non-patriarchal gender socialization will improve women in foreign policy, but then maybe one or two of you want to be diplomat, but living in patriarchal society or living in patriarchal family, and then you can say that my our hypothesis is flawed. So there someone have different.
I've shared your presentation and I shared Ms. Dayu's presentation as well. You know, the people can have this kind of papers. Maybe they want to, after the meeting, maybe they will read and they will ask. They wanted to ask you questions from the text. So
okay,
then we are ready to help all.
Then we can drop our email, I suppose, in the chat box.
Yeah.
So
please write down your email.
We are open to discuss this further. Yeah. This is my email.
Yeah, because it's interesting. Indonesia is at such a unique place in the sense that we are a member of a G20. We are an emerging nation. We are influenced by multiple cultures, including Islam, but not everyone is a Muslim. And even the way that Islam is introduced in our country makes us, practice Islam in many different ways. So as Wendy is saying, that there is an increasing tendency for people to fall into more fundamental Islam, in the sense that women are told to wear the headscarf, and then there are specific roles that women are expected to perform, including that in Aceh, perhaps Wendy, you are aware that some female leaders are now facing criticisms from the religious clerics, because they're female and they're speaking publicly, and they have to also do some inspection, sometimes have orders that may be disadvantageous to the male counterpart and what have you. And so that's the situation that we're in now. There's a dichotomy of economic education advancement, and at the same time there's culture and there's religion that come into play.
Yeah. Because Azerbaijan and Indonesia have common similar character, yeah, maybe both are Muslim majority countries, so maybe we from Indonesia could have the first question about what aspect is influence gender equality whether a political system or religious practice. So we also want to know how about in Azerbaijan, which one is influence?
I would say political, not religious, because we are not too much religious, speaking frankly. We are more open, and we are, I would say we are more tolerant, and we have not only, in Azerbaijan, not only Muslims, there are Christians, there are Jews, or different types of religions are combined. So we live really, I think that no religions, well, I would say political, I would say, because my society, we are not so religious, I would say. No, it's not about more religious. It would be more political aspects.
So this is interesting. While many Muslim majority countries has problem with religious conservative religious practice and influencing the gender equality in that country, but Azerbaijan have different. So this is interesting.
Very interesting. That this is very interesting that we don't have such kind of religious aspects that that we can accuse there was some kind of. We don't have such kind of violations of gender equality. I've never seen. I've never witnessed it. I would say. Maybe there is, but little. It's not too much. So in everywhere, very less percentages could be happening anywhere in the world, in Western society. Doesn't matter. But very interesting point is even we don't know why, despite we are Muslim, but we don't have such kind of gender equality which comes from the religion aspect. So we have, but not too much, we would say. Very interesting point, I would say. So we try to attract people to the position, I would say, thought, and we try to attract them, but unfortunately, everybody likes watching and listening. I hope that our proposal or next meeting will be more active. Ms. Arta, I would like to express our gratitude and to you and your staff and our speakers, really, for your effort and for organizing such kind of wonderful event. I hope that more people will listen, will watch this video, and at least the society will be informed about the gender perspective from the Indonesian side. Of course, we shared some of our thoughts, but it was not professional. Hope that one day, in the near future, we will also give the floor to our speakers in order to share their own thoughts and the statistics about Azerbaijan gender equality and development.
Thank you, Dr. Fusal, and specifically also thank you for my lovely colleagues, Mr. Prajuli and Ms. Dayu. So, Dr. Fusal and all students from Western Caspian University and other students, we are during this year are still doing the research. So, if we will let you know and invite you. If we are doing roadshow, if we want to going to do another webinar or FGD to support our research, we will let you know, and we are looking forward to welcome you again. So it has been a very good, allow me as the Master of Ceremony and also representing BİNUS University and my research group to thank you, Western Caspian University, for the opportunity, and somehow our head of department is opening his camera video. Dr. Rangga, would you like to send gratitude too, or? Okay, thank you everybody, and also we happen to have Mr. Satrio from representative from BİNUS University for collaboration. Thank you, Mr. Nugroho, for attending this seminar, webinar. We are looking forward for other program with Western Caspian University. Thank you, everybody. So see you in another opportunity.
Hope.
Bye.
Thank you,
Wassalamualaikum
everyone.
warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stay well and safe, everyone. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Great, Mas Wendy, Mbak Dayu.
Ya. Sampai besok ya.
Ya.
Ayo suruh datang nih
Siap.
semuanya besok.
Oh iya, itu ya. Yang namanya CE ya.
Iya.
Kalau masih mau stay di sini.
No.
Ah.
Please allow me to leave the Zoom ya. Bye-bye.
Ya, pamit dah.
Bye. Allow me to end this Zoom too.